Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
Respectfully, Representative Smith, the fact that there are, in fact, some errors that happen in the system. Every system has errors, and it doesn't mean that there are not safeguards in place. There are safeguards, and you as a clerk, having done many registrations previously, understand that there's a process that you go through. And you can ask NASA. There's no process that doesn't have some error inherent in the system.
Okay, thank you. And you're very right. When I was a clerk, there were lots of errors in the system. That's largely why I am here. I took off a dead voter in my township. And guess what? That dead voter was put back on. Not by me. That was done by the Secretary of State's office. So we need to do a lot of fixing here in our elections. When I was a clerk at Martin Township, there was a family member who at one point was registered at my in-laws' home. And that family member had died nearly 20 years prior. They were put on the rolls at 2020. They were mailed voter application ballots without the authorization to do that. That's the local clerk's job. So I went in there, removed her from the voting rolls because I know firsthand this family member is dead and deceased. Just this past election cycle, lo and behold, that person was put back on the voter rolls and has a card of the early voting location polling that I actually have and can produce. And that's a problem.
It's a serious problem. Every day, everywhere, the excuses are always the same. What are you talking about? You have mistakes. NASA will tell you that you have mistakes. No, that's not actually the case. That's not the case. If you picked up your cell phone and you tried to use that cell phone and you couldn't actually make a phone call, you would have problems with the user experience. You would try to fix it. You would create a hardened environment. These machines and these systems have been in play for the last 20 years. For the last 20 years. And in 20 years, they haven't gotten better. Matter of fact, the same things that they saw back in 2011, 2012, 2010. Remember, it was 2006 that CFA said, yeah, you guys got to sell. You're not allowed to be owned by Venezuela. Because they knew, because there were problems in Chicago. Chicago, by the way, is the epicenter. It is the hub of how elections are controlled around and across the country. It's no wonder that Eric Coomer spent his time in Cook County, in Chicago, during the 2020 election. It's no wonder that that's where he spent a majority of his time, or that every time that they wanted something done in another country like Mongolia or other countries where they were subverting the elections at every level, they would send their friend Eric Coomer. It's no wonder. So there's a post that I put up, and I said the elections are fraudulent. Reset the system. The election outcome already decided, and not just by the left. The GOP is as rotted, only arguably worse, because it's easy to be team evil. It's much more evil to pretend you are good while doing evil. But hey, slavery needs a narrative to keep bondage possible. And if you look at the post that this actually goes behind, this particular post is Jesse Kelly. Do we have that video? Okay, great. We'll play a little bit later, so stay tuned for that, playing a little bit later. So I put up a post. We'll kind of talk a little bit about this, but every single place that you look in our country, it is degraded. And leadership has been like, hey, nothing to see here, nothing to see here, nothing to see here. Everything that we deal with comes back to fake elections, selected leaders, and institutional enslavement by design. And if that's not enough, Dar Leaf, Sheriff Dar Leaf, is continuing to expose what you just actually heard, which is the stealing of American elections. And this is from a whistleblower inside. Let's put this up. This right here is communication between the confidential informant and the MDOS manager of the elections. And goes in and says, I would like to keep all that proof that our department is registering non-citizens to register to vote, though, when you are done with it. And the MDOS says, okay, I honestly think that it is a CARES program error than anything other than changes their address. The document prints off, and if when it hits the county clerk's office, nothing happens. As if she is not actually going to be registered to vote because they will see she is not a citizen, if that makes sense to you. Okay, with the new way of registering everyone that requires them to send back a paper to not be registered, we are going to have so many people on the voter file that shouldn't be. I'm not a fan of this new way. As you can probably see, it just creates errors that can be possibly not caught. Not a very good way of doing things, and unfortunately, considering this day and age. Now, underneath that is another document. If we can put this up, yeah, let's go ahead and get to it. And this right here, if you can make that bigger, can you make it bigger? Or well, is that it? Is that as big as it's going to get? I love it that it's just that big. Okay, let me see. This says, information regarding your Michigan State Identification Card. It says, if you have questions or not receive your state identification card within 45 days of your application, please visit michigan.gov/SOS. Congratulations, you are going to be registered to vote. Your clerk will make sure you're eligible. But see, here's the problem. There is no clerk makes it sure you're eligible. It's not true. It's a lie. And the Secretary of State of Michigan is doing what they're doing in other states. And they're creating a machine and using the machines and the mail-in ballots and the faulty voter rolls in order to come out to a conclusion. And here's by the way, Tina, our friend Tina, that's discussing the cheating has already been exposed. We already have all the details. Eric Coomer should be in prison. It shouldn't just be a get rid of the Kabuki Theater cases, the lawfare cases. Obviously, that's a thing as well. And for 6 years, everyone goes, Joe, you just don't give up. Why would I give up? Why would I give up to criminals? Why would I give up to people who are evil? Why would I not stand up? You have others like Kyle Clark and people in the media that have come after me and have slandered me and defamed me with impunity. And people are like, oh, Joe, it's nuclear. And I was like, so they get to say whatever they want. Do you know why they spend so much time attacking me? Because the same reason why you're listening to me now, same reason why you're watching this podcast. Because everything that I'm saying is true. Everything. And I'm not afraid of the truth. Matter of fact, if there's one thing there's a couple things you can say about me. One, I'm not going to lie to you. Two, I don't have any fear. I don't care. I could care less. Could care less. I don't care about your feelings. I don't care what you think. What I care about is it true? That's what I care about. And what the consequences are, the consequences are. Whether I live tomorrow or I live 10 years from now or 20 years or 50 years from now, it makes no difference. I know where I'm going. But here's Tina talking about the machines. The machines are cheating. The ballots will be harvested. They will do whatever it takes to take your voice. You are a slave. And if you can't see that at 56 cents on every dollar coming out of your paycheck, and the fact that you're less than a half of a person, and you tell me where the government deserves to have over half of what you have, with regulations that are oppressive, putting a millstone on you, and a judiciary that basically Wreck-It Ralph with immunity against communities and against the country, telling you, sit down, slave. Go ahead and play it.
We don't have to prove anymore that these machines are cheating, that the ballots are being harvested, that all these things, the mail-in ballot, we don't have to prove that anymore. There is enough evidence to show that these processes should never be in place, even if we didn't have all the proof that we have in Mesa County Report 1, 2, and 3 from 5 years ago. We have enough to show that these processes, these machines, the registration database that David Becker with SEER and all of that they can't be trusted. So if a process and a mechanism of recording the people's vote accurately can't be trusted, it has to be gone away. It has to be thrown away, and new processes implemented. And they're very simple. The process to replace these machines and these processes is very simple. People try to make it sound too difficult and too complicated.
Well, there you have it. And now that we have this and we have all this information, the states are still doing this thing called gaslighting. They're gaslighting the American people in ways that you can't even imagine. And not only, by the way, is it a uniparty that's doing all this, it's Team Evil. If it's not John Thune on one side and Mike Johnson on the other side saying, hey, look, we're not going to pass the Save America Act, it's activist judges that are like, oh, crap, they might actually get this across. They might actually stop us. And the problem with us is that once we get to where we want, we don't push it all the way to where we put evil back in its hole. But you have states like Arizona, California, Colorado, Kentucky, or Connecticut, Delaware, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Nevada, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Vermont, Virginia, Wisconsin. They're all suing President Trump over the Supreme Court ruling. Yeah. Oh, and the District of Columbia. Because they want to keep this system of fraud in place. And you could sit here and say, oh, Joe, it's conspiracy theory. You know what? Screw you. You liars have been lying about everything. They've been lying about everything. And they do it to stuff their faces while they piss on the American people. No, we're done. Here, this is Arizona Democrat AG, put there by selection, not by election, with a fraudulent system that we proved over and over again, but you had fraudulent judges there. Talking about the lawsuit challenging President Trump's play it.
Election and how to affect this election, and if it does, do you have any sense of how many Arizonans might not get early ballots delivered?
Well, what I would say is, over my dead body is that rule going to go into effect. We are going to fight this tooth and nail in the courts, and I've got the best Solicitor General in the country standing right there, who is going to make sure, along with the other attorneys general who are fighting this case. I think 25 states signed on to this lawsuit this morning.
It wasn't 25 states that signed onto it. And by the way, we accept over your dead body. We accept. We accept that. Let it be over your dead body. We don't care. I mean, as far as we're concerned, you guys can all jump in the same hole, and we'll just fill it up with whatever we can fill it up with after you're in it. Over your dead body, huh? So the American people don't matter. I just want you to know that it's not the American people, it's the bots and the radical leftists that think that they actually can rule over the 85% of the people that want free and fair elections and don't want to have the conversation. So who are they representing when you have 85% of the entire United States that want the Save America Act passed? What's this theater for? Do we forget about that? Do we forget about the fact that Americans are done talking about it, that they want to have a seat at the table, that they felt like they've been pushed out, and on both sides of the aisle they feel like they've been betrayed? That, or what are we talking about exactly? Over your dead what? Okay, well, you know what? We accept. We accept. You know, we have a guest coming in who is not a stranger to the show. It's Brigadier General Blaine Holt. He's amazing. He's an amazing guy. He is an ex-researcher, or he has a company called X Research Group. He's a Air Force commander. I wanted to go just straight to the stuff that he did in the military. He was highly decorated in the military, in the Air Force. He liked air conditioning. That's why he went in the Air Force. We'll talk to him a little bit about that. Maybe poke at him a little bit. But he also rose to become the second highest ranking U.S. military official at NATO. And he's recognized by the Supreme Allied Commander Europe as the #1 strategist and innovator. So it's always a pleasure having him. So, General, welcome. Welcome to the show.
Great to be with you. It's great to return to the show, and appreciate the big introduction. And yes, I love air conditioning. I live in northern Idaho. It's cool here.
And you got beautiful mountains, and it's absolutely amazing. The people there are pretty amazing.
When they're not on fire. You know, that's a whole nother episode.
Yeah, absolutely. You've been tracking pretty closely what's going on with Venezuela, Iran, Russia, Ukraine, all this stuff that's happening. But let's just jump into it. How do you think these things are being handled? Are they being handled well? Are they being handled not so well? I know the American public, most people have an opinion of going into Iran. Like we care very little about a lot of things happening there because we're suffering so much here. But how do you think that it's playing out for us? as Americans.
You know, I think you set the foundation really well with election integrity, because it all comes down to that at the end of the day about what's our foreign policy, how do we let contracts, who gets paid for what, how many years does a congressman or a senator get to be in. You know, we just have a new deceased senator who never saw a war he didn't like and never saw a fat defense contract that he didn't appreciate or steer. And it makes you wonder about that ballot box. Is that the guy that we voted for? And when we really kind of get down to it, this war, the United States version of this war, and it is a global war. The global war is very simple. It's called sovereigntists versus globalists. And that's every single other thing that we could possibly talk about in this fifth generation war is but a mere battlefield, of which election integrity is one of them. But to your earlier point, not only is it a uniparty, it is the deep state has no aisle associated with it and covers not just elected, their staffers, lobbyists, the corporatists, the financialists, the bankers. Everybody's getting something. And anytime somebody says, oh, Joe, that's a tinfoil hat thing, that's a conspiracy theory. Well, they're one of two people. They're either in on it or they're a dumb apparatchik and they believe everything flying out of CNN's mouth every single night. But really, where we're at is in a pitched battle for the very fabric of this nation, self-governance, our Constitution. And the events happening around the globe, they all roll up to the exact same thing. It's sovereigntists, which is what President Trump is fighting, not perfectly, always up for criticisms there where they may lie, against the organization that has been around since the fall of Rome and just incarnated into various iterations. But people need to be able to simplify things in their brain. So what the mainstream media wants you to do is they want you to jump in a silo. Corrupt judiciary, yeah, jump in that silo if it's of interest to you. Corrupt elections, jump in that silo. Oh, Iranian war, jump in that silo. No. It's all related. It's the same thing. Goes to the same place. Sovereigntists versus globalists. It's a global war, and it's for all the marbles.
Well, we have to, when we look at this, and I think this is one of the reasons why, I love having you on, because we can actually work the problem and look at it from an academic standpoint, just without any emotion. And I think we do when we start talking about the sovereignty of our nation, how we actually address foreign or domestic policy, how those things intertwine, and who is responsible, who are the pigs, right? And you said it very well. You talked about the lobbyists, you talked about people in Washington, staffers. These are the pigs. These are the pigs on both sides of the aisle that basically stuff their face with entitlements from the American people. And more importantly, in order to have a relationship that we're dealing with right now, you have to have a abusive type of environment. It has to be abusive. And in essence, that's where we're at. We're in that abusive relationship where the American people are being spat upon while we're lifting up foreigners and even positions of trust, like judges and so on. First generation just got here off the boat and they put their kid into a federal judgeship. And it's done entirely to create so much friction and instability here that you can't see the pigs stuffing their face because you're too busy trying to plug holes on things that frankly don't matter, or we're just negotiating with or debating the ridiculous.
Nope, that's absolutely right. They want you distracted quite intentionally. They'll even take something very horrific. This time last year, we were ramping up towards the Charlie Kirk assassination. Yeah. That is awful. That's awful. We're still talking about it because we know it's all bullshit. But the big thing is fixate on that, plebe. Because then if you fixate on that, what you won't be doing is you won't be looking at what the financialists are doing against us, the grand theft that's going on in private credit, that your pension funds and your life insurance are in the target zone for this theft. You won't pay attention to any of that. You'll start to think that, oh, it's the federal government that's the problem. Oh, don't you think for 5 seconds that your flock-ridden city's not covered up with crooked elections at the city council level, and that your state government's pristine. And I don't care whether a red or a blue state. The whole point is we have lost self-governance in this nation. And what you've described very, very well here in the United States is, and I hope President Trump gets to this conclusion soon, whether it's local, state, federal, any branch, judicial, legislative, executive, even on his own team, The government's incapacitated. It's compromised. It's compromise that involves extortion, payoffs, bribes, blackmail, and Americans will say, "Well, I'm sure there's some bad eggs." It's like, no. Right now, DC is in a fight of its life trying to preserve DC
Itself. Yeah.
itself. It's a self-licking ice cream cone, and it's there to protect itself.
You know, when we talk about DC specifically, growing up in that area, I can tell you that there's nothing ever made sense. It never
Right.
makes sense. Like it's not I call it the fishnet, right? So if you walk through DC, it's just a matter of time before you get caught in the fishnet. That could be you're robbed. It could mean you're caught up in some sort of they charge you with something. I mean, even as something as simple as where you park your car, you'll come back out, the car will be gone, right? And it's because they towed it away
That's right.
because you were 1 inch over a line. Like it's probably one of the most punitive and disgustingly obvious corrupt environments you're going to come across.
Right. Nope. You've got it exactly right. What was it? President Trump the other day? I thought he's the troller in chief, of course. But what did he say? We're going to change it from District of Columbia to District of America. It'll be DA from now on. And I was like, look, I Mr. President, I appreciate the sentiment, but from the kids trying to put pornography in your local library down the street to the bros that want a data center down on the street corner and you surveilled if you even think about fighting it, all the way up to, oh, hell yeah, we're going to get more bombs and missiles into Ukraine, and we're going to all live in this bathtub of grift because everybody in D.C. is making money off of it. And who wouldn't like that Fairfax McMansion to have an extension on it? And that's what it gets to.
Yeah, actually, it's you got the Fairfax McMansion or you got the Potomac McMansion.
That's for the varsity team. That's not for the Kool-Aid drinkers. That's for the Kool-Aid mixers.
Yeah. This is very true. Very true. Potomac is kind of a shutoff of everything else in the Maryland side.
Yeah.
Okay, so we go back to you brought up Charlie Kirk. I want to talk about Charlie Kirk for a minute. You know, I actually don't pick winners and losers, and I don't pick sides in a personal fight. So President Trump goes against Marjorie Taylor Greene, doesn't like Thomas Massey. Thomas Massey's like, I'm not for any of this stuff. Yeah, I'll make sacrifices and I'll negotiate. Tucker Carlson, same thing. But we tend to pick winners and losers and then go out in the deal and expect everyone to lose their loyalty or their affection towards an individual based upon that fight. General, what's going on, man? Why is it that it's a zero-sum game and you have this little group, and I'll just specifically talk about Dan Pongino, that they sit in these little groups and they self-gratify and self-reflect on themselves to make it as if they're the authorities, and then you just scratch below the surface and there's nothing there. I don't care if President Trump has a fight with someone. It doesn't mean I'm going to stop talking to him or I hate him. I'm just not doing it. I'm not that guy. So why is it that we have this on our side? We have this influencer like hemorrhoid that pops up and does what it does, and then the American people are expected to go, oh yeah, I'm running away from this person. Oh, he's a terrible person now. It doesn't make any sense.
It is all part of the bad guy plan and they use electronic means as well. You mentioned bots. There's all kinds of psychological operations on this battle space, and honestly, well-meaning Americans who really want their country back and want the right things, they're so white-hot pissed off that they make themselves vulnerable to a fifth-generation warfare attack. And the way that attack happens is just set up the circular firing squad. Tucker Carlson said something to Candace. Okay, everybody's eyeballs bleed. Now they're not pure anymore. Let's go get them. Somebody got $1 from Qatar for their podcast. Okay, let's incinerate them. But I know
it wasn't
that 90%
even true, General. It wasn't true. He didn't get any money from Qatar. He got
no. I'm talking about all of it. Just whatever the meme or the narrative is, you have a lot of white hot pissed off Americans that will bite off on that shad like a daggum catfish in the Red River and hang on to it tight. And what we should all do is, do you remember, especially this happened in the first Trump administration? He was whipsawing us all over the place. Massey's a great guy. I love him. He's wonderful. And then the next day, Massey's an awful guy. Camel spit on his face and his family. In other words, the president is very pragmatic, and everybody's stock with the president trades up and down all the time. Look at the history of Joe Kent. Joe Kent, he kind of threw him under the bus, but did he? Kind of wrapped a lot of velvet around that, and then threw him under the bus, and then really didn't throw him under the bus. In other words, the president is playing the fifth generation warfare game quite substantially, I would add. Besant's playing it even more. He is an absolute field general in this war. But you've got a lot of loyal followers who are not catching up with that. Now, if I had a criticism of President Trump, he would do better to educate from the Resolute desk about what's going on. But I also understand there's liabilities in that space as well. But what I also think is, you know what? It's okay. Just buckle your seatbelts. I do think that we're on a phase change right now in this war, and things are going to be very dramatically different in the next 30 days or so. Dramatically different.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. So much so that I've decided I'm exiting the stock market at the end of this month.
This is not financial advice.
I'm going to sit. This is not financial advice, but I'm going to sit on the sidelines for a little bit and just poke at the bear and see if it's still alive. But I might be talking about something that is forbidden space.
Oh, let's go there. That's one of my favorite spaces.
Okay. Joe Kent. Now, look, I normally wouldn't have to preface this. I mean, look, I've been called everything in the world from an anti-Semite to a stuff that I've been called a racist.
Oh, you and me both. You're in a good club. You're in a good club.
Every time I turn around, it's something new, right? But Joe Kent's an honorable guy. President Trump punches at some of these people.
Yeah.
Scott Besant, he is very good at what he does in the position he's in. But you'd be hard pressed not to know that he ran a fund that was funded by George Soros.
Yes.
So it makes my brain hurt thinking about the intertwined relationships, and yet we're enemies. We should be enemies against someone who has subverted the will of the people of the United States. And yet we're friends, but we're enemies, but we don't know if we're enemies, and we play in this world, but we can poke at people, but then you see them fist bump afterwards. Help me.
Okay. So you got to get back to identification of what the war is. It is a fifth generation war, and I think it's a good point in time to stop and go, what the hell's that? It's not tanks, bombs, guns, and missiles, although that's a small part of it.
Yeah.
Fifth generation warfare is unrestricted warfare. It's everything is warfare. And the lead weapons in your box are information ops, psychological operations, and deception. So when we see things like Joe Kent gets a nasty tweet for his wanting to quit and stands up and makes a big spectacle of him quitting. So I would sit there. First off, if you feel a dopamine or a serotonin release and you're starting to get angry when you see some of these things, that's your cue. You're on the fifth generation warfare battlefield, and that the enemy is firing into your head right now. And what you need to do as your first line of defense is get a glass of water, sit down, drop the emotion, and go, aha, they want to elicit this emotion out of me. So what am I looking at really? And then go get some popcorn and look at this for what it is. So very quickly with Joe Kent, Tulsi Gabbard, I am putting a shadow box around this going, that's theater. That's theater. What I'm looking at is not what I'm looking at. It is not what we think it is. Yeah. And I will tell you that it's my speculation. I think it's pretty good speculation that Joe Kent, great American, loves his country.
Great American.
And he is outside the government right now working his ass off for this president and the government. I'm going to tell you, Tulsi Gabbard's doing the same damn thing. So what a great thing to be in the government, see all the bullshit going down, know where the dead bodies are, hang up your clearance, come outside the government, and now be able to have freedom of movement with the knowledge that you have in your brain. Or let's look at Scott Besant. He is our ass kicker. And would you want an ass kicker on your side that doesn't know anything about the enemy, being inside the enemy's camp, never worked with the enemy, doesn't know the enemy's tactics? I would not want that guy. What
Yeah, I
I
agree
would
with you.
want is the guy who has been right at the front lines of evil, just a hired gun working for his boss. Well, he's got he's a hired gun for a new team. And I think he's doing, honestly, looking at the banking aspects of it, all of the banking aspects. People try to get their hands around the reverse carry trade with the yen or buying short term paper. They're snarkily saying, the president's dropping rates to buy votes. It's like, well, that's not a good way to do it, kids. Um, and and they don't look at what's happening against the globalists in the big picture. So to get yourself over that hump and to go, well, what's really happening? Drop the emotions and then let the scent do something and then look for the effect about 48 to 72 hours later and then look, well, what's really happening? And what you would have found is reverse carry trade off the yen. You just shut down the ATM machine to the globalists and the banksters, the ones who are running the laundering machines for the Iranians, buying short-term paper, flatten the yield curve, drying up the euro dollar, and taking out a major portion of counterfeiting that Europe's been doing at our expense. In every case, liquidity crisis now in the private credit sector, banksters on the run. When banksters are on the run, you now have their undivided attention and they're willing to look at, well, what do you got on your mind? And I think, and that's why I love the title of this podcast, The Great Reset. I think Field General Bissett is leading us to a place called monetary reset, which is all you little global thinksters. Yeah, your paper's not worth shit anymore. Sorry. That's too bad. Because look at what Europe did. They traded all of their metals away for paper. The LBMA thought that they could financially manipulate the entire thing. Lloyds of London was going to shut down the Middle East. None of that crap's happened. And none of that crap happens without Field General Bissett going, I see what you're doing there. How about I just wipe out your currency? Okay, next.
So that leads me to what you just said as far as a controlled environment, right? They rigged the game.
Mm-hmm.
And when you started talking about the Bank of London going across the
City
Middle
of London,
East,
yeah.
look
Mm-hmm.
no further than the demonetization and the devalued of the currency in places like Iraq, right?
Oh, yeah.
Which has one of the most
yeah.
oil-rich environments in the world. And not only do they
Please
have
tell me you
oil,
have some dinar. Please tell me you have dinar in your mattress. Please tell me you have some Iraqi dinar in your mattress. This is not financial advice. I just want to know if your mattress feels better with some Iraqi dinar in it.
I
That's all
should
I'm
bring
asking.
some in tomorrow. I've got about 30 or 40 million, maybe more, dinar.
You can't,
So
or Vietnam dong. Please tell me that your pillow is stuffed with some Vietnam
I'm not going
dong,
to tell you
please.
anything. I'm just going to tell you that I have a lot of stuff, and but I have
Stuff's
a
good to
lot.
have.
Yeah, it's really good to
Yeah.
have. And
Yeah.
I, by the way, I have to hold it. So they
Sure.
they do this thing where they're like, oh, we'll just hold it for you. I'm like, no, thank you. I'll keep it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Go ahead.
Yeah, appreciate you wanting to do that for me.
But you could see, like, I remember when I went to Iraq, I was there, and the first time I ever used dinars, and they're like, yeah, it was like 6, whatever it is. It's not called dinar.
Was it in the fall? Were you there during the festival season when the autumn was there and the leaves were turning and there was that crispiness in the air in Iraq? Did you go to the festivals there?
And
Did
the
you-
north. Yeah, I didn't go to the festival. So
Yeah.
but I'm going to tell you that the craziness of this was, that's what I just paid for that drink is the
Mhm.
I couldn't even give you a penny. Like, it's less than a
Right.
penny.
Right.
And you have all of this wealth.
Yeah.
We haven't even started talking about, some of the precious metals that they have there, or
Right.
any of the other things that have going on.
I know where you're going. Yep.
And you could see that there was this, the oil, the barrel of oil would be like, I don't know, $80, let's say. And
Yeah.
they're selling that oil out of Iraq for like $6 a barrel.
Yeah.
$5.
Yeah. Yep.
It's slavery. We have slavery in the United States, 56 cents at every dollar, but you can
Yeah.
see the grip, the hold of these people
Yeah.
over. There's no difference in what we did to Iraq, what has happened to Iraq, and it's not just the United States, and what is done if you go back 1,000 years and basically enslaving an entire people. No difference.
So let's do in 30 seconds history of the world here.
Okay.
These globalists have run the table, been in charge, controlled everything resource-wise and roots-wise from the fall of Rome to now. So when you have an entrenched enemy that was the fall of the Roman Empire, then the Venetians and the money changers, gladly gave that up to Napoleon. They became the Dutch. Gladly left that when they saw a better deal in the UK during the 9 Years' War in 1688, and they knocked King James out, put William in. Here comes the city of London. Then they pick a fight with the colonists of the United States. They lost the first time. The rematch didn't go their way kinetically. So what do? They mix it up in the Buchanan administration, red ants, black ants, shake the jar. And now you got Southerners and Northerners fighting each other over slavery, but it's manipulated. Now we're broke. That's exactly where they want us. The banksters come in, they underwrite us. They basically put us into hock up to our eyeballs. New immigrants are coming to town, guys with the name of Carnegie, Rockefeller, Mellon, all these dudes, Vanderbilts, they become industrialists. Now we're off to the races. The Fabian Society, 1884, is up and going. These are the original communists. And then their first Fabian president, Woodrow Wilson, who helps them co-opt our nation with the 16th, 17th Amendment. Total bullshit, never really passed the right way. And they manufacture the Russian Revolution, the World War I at the same time, rise of the intelligence agencies, MI6, OSS is born. The Wall Streeters are financing, in conjunction with the City of London, the Nazis. They put the German war machine together. They bet on both sides of the war. One of those financiers from the United States side, besides Ford, is Prescott Bush, H.W. Bush's dad. Wild Bill Donovan, the Dulles brothers, all banksters from Wall Street, convert the OSS into the World Commerce Corporation. Then it becomes the Central Intelligence Agency. Operation Paperclip, Operation Gladio, Operation Mockingbird, MK Ultra. All those beautiful things come out. And now you have the synthetic colonization of the United States. When they look at you, the voter, how dare you even think you're going to get a vote in this country? We have a lockdown on all of this. In fact, did you not see what we did to JFK? Did you not get the memo on that stuff? So when we're pitched in a battle like we are right now, do you think that when they own all the roots and resources, and you just talked about the rape of Iraq, that's the Pico-Sykes line. You could go back to the Balfour Declaration and the buying up of Palestinian land. You could go to the Durand line in Pakistan. In every case, the British Empire, which was that incarnation, bought it all up, split it in half, had everybody go to war, depopulate them while you take all their crap, wash, rinse, repeat. Well, this has happened right here. You don't go any further back than the 2008 global financial crisis. And instead of making Americans whole, they keep everybody in their Hamptons, everybody in their brownstones. $1 trillion of your money goes and fixes it. And now they're doing it again, just times 1,000 in terms of strength. So here comes 1929. Unless a guy like Besant takes the rug and pulls it right out from under themselves, doesn't bail out anybody, and all of a sudden now we're on stablecoin, a gold-backed standard, and we're trading outside of the system, and all Americans can have their damn money back. I think that's where we're going, and I think we have to. And if we don't, we're going to be in a Mad Max war this time next year.
So the Mad Max war, I think that's a real thing. I keep saying that, and I'll say it again, that because John Nance, the failed FBI, whatever you want to call it, book writer / not a journalist / kind of a retard, said that I shouldn't say this because it's terrorism. And that is, we are not going to be able to vote our way out of it because the system is not a voting system. It is it is political theater. And I think
they have a lab for this. It's called Ireland.
Yeah, I mean, look at what's happening right now across much of Europe. Look at what Poland did when they went down and tore down the EU flag. They are trying to create a globalist environment, and it's failing miserable. And now people are starting to see. And look, General, I don't believe that we should get to violence. I don't believe.
No, I don't
we
either.
should. But
that's why we fight like hell now.
But we're capable of great violence, right?
Oh, never underestimate the creativity of the American people. at all. Look at these kids right now. We're not even talking violence. Look at these kids right now that are going like, first off, they're getting smart on the Fourth Amendment real damn quick, and they're going down to their street corner and going, wow, this is pretty cool. If I laze that thing up there on that street corner light, it doesn't work anymore. Interesting. So look, we're cut from the same cloth as Sam Adams, who burned this country in a damn bar. That's where we come from.
Yeah.
And the globalists right now are getting a false impression of this laboratory they've created called Northern Ireland and Ireland, and they are about to stoke a civil war there. And if they're like, man, the Irish, they're red-blooded, passionate, white-hot fighters. If we can do this here, we can do it anywhere. It's like, all those people came here. They immigrated here. We've got those people. And my last podcast was with this brilliant woman, Melissa Siome from Northern Ireland, and she lays it all out for you. So if you need a crystal ball and you don't believe what you and I are talking about, go ahead and look into Europe and you can see what they have planned for us. The problem is we're going to say no. And we could do it the nice way, which is the President Trump way, or next year it'll be the what the Irish lovingly refer to as the Troubles. It'll be the Troubles.
Yeah, and we're so close to the Troubles that it does scare me from the standpoint of that's going to wreak havoc on a lot of people die during that. And I don't think the left understand. They cosplay,
and we're fighting to not have that happen.
Right, because most of us know how to cook, eat, hunt, and protect ourselves.
Yep.
Right. And if you want to get to that, if you want to be about that life, all right, we'll show you.
Yeah, listen, if you play Call of Duty and you've got purple hair and you have pronouns, you're not up for this. You're just not up for this. You're not. You're not.
What amazes me is that they think that's real life. They think that's real life.
I know.
It's unbelievable. So I want to go back. In February, you said you wanted to watch for Trump to act on Iran after the State of the Union.
Mm-hmm.
And you later described the U.S. as using a delay tactic, right? Or using their like against them. As you start looking at the timeline, what's the next trigger? What are we looking for next? If we're planning this out, you know, Iran has a decentralized management / leadership culture, right? We should have known that going in. This is a people that has never been defeated in 2,000, 3,000 years. They just have never been defeated. Everyone's tried. And they have access to technology and assets because there's this melding of relationships between China and Russia and all these different countries. So do we even know what we're up against right now? Because I feel like we underestimated entirely what we were going to be fighting.
Wow. Well, I've got a different sight picture.
Okay, give it to me.
And I think they've now suffered their first defeat, one that you can actually put into the books. There's some cleanup operations. There's still some danger here in our own country and in Europe. But I think the plan has worked out marvelously well, despite the mainstream media and detractors from the military-industrial complex who will get on and say, you can't do this without the army. You can't do this without this. Iran is the most formidable thing ever. And watch out for the Persians. And they know what they're doing. And they know how to fight. No, they don't.
I don't believe that's true. But hold on a second. The Afghanis didn't know how to fight either. Right?
But we're not fighting them the same way. We fought the Afghanis in a stupid way.
Right.
The first 3 months of that war, we had the right idea.
Yeah.
Bomb the ever-living snot out of them and then leave. And leave a calling card. Here's some bombing surveys. How was my bombing? Was it horrific, apocalyptic, not so bad? And
want us to come back?
Right, exactly. And leave a calling card. Any more shit out of you guys? And we're coming back for more, but we're not buying this country. Instead, what the military-industrial complex did in Afghanistan was they saw a business model. They saw an unending gobstopper. At our expense, killing our guys, destroying our lives and families and our limbs, because they never care about that. They don't care about that. What they care about is slap your patch, God and country. We got to stop terrorism. And it's like, oh, geez. So here we are.
This again.
Yeah. So here we are with Iran. No 130,000 forces on the ground, no shock and awe, no drive to Tehran. Just starts out 18 months ago with some freedom Doritos, bombing some sites to put a tourniquet on this thing so that the Israelis don't get nuts. Then we start seeing the semblances of an Iranian population that says, maybe the regime is getting weaker. We start working with intel assets. We start on intelligence preparation of the battle space to get ready for what is to come. Finally, the Israelis are like, we can't stand it anymore. We just got to go to Iran. Okay, let's do it. But we'll lead it. You're not going to lead it because we believe that if you get Iran wrong, you're going to be on a path to World War III. Because the Chinese and the Russians have been on the sidelines. I believe that's through back channel diplomacy and done very well. They have been on the sidelines. They're not coming into this thing because we had some ground rules. And what we have done very eloquently is we have taken what would be an Iranian strategy and made it work against them, meaning they want to negotiate, kick the can down the road, all this other happy crap. No, that worked against them. The president was never going to let that regime stay in place. Yes, I get it. Just because he said it on TV doesn't. Remember, I talked about deception and fifth generation warfare, telling the mullahs and the clerics and the IRGC, oh, they're negotiating with us now. No, they're not negotiating with us now. All of that had the effect of stabilizing the oil's futures market. That cost on algorithms alone billions and billions of dollars from the financialists, because the hidden adversary was Europe and Lloyd's of London, and they proved it. So what have we done now? We got ourselves to a place where the revolution is ready, set, go. You've got them supplied. The Kurds are now moving in from the north. We have pretty much cleaned up the straits. Yes, there'll be the couple of missiles here and there to deal with. We will. Lloyd's is not going to have monopoly anymore. We've tamed the Middle East. All of the money laundering is done. And so I think Scott Bessent, when he announced D-Day, he closed the door on the money laundering so that he had trapped all the rest of the banks and countries that were doing that. But that word D-Day is very important. I think that was the signal to the Iranians. You'll never get a better chance. Go take back your own country now. If you need some bombs, we'll go ahead and throw them at you. We're on our way to a victory. This is just but a battlefield in this global war I've been talking about. And this is going to be a significant loss for the globalists. I mean, a powerful loss for the globalists. And then we're going to welcome the Iranian people back into the world commons. And much like Iraq, they're going to get to build their own country, pick their own guy, have their own resources, and they're not going to be selling that oil at $6 a barrel, Beijing. So pay attention.
Well, I mean, so we talk about the industrial war complex and who's buying that oil for $6 a barrel. This, by the way, is a problem in a lot of different countries that the United States has had their fingers in it, and not the good part of the United States either.
I know.
You have people like Susan Rice, who the bad Susan Rice, by the way, because we have somebody that's named Susan Rice that watched our show, but that went to the UN and made that her beat stick, and then used it to actually destabilize nations like Sudan. You talk about Sudan, talk about
Victoria Nuland,
Libya.
Samantha Powers, the USAID. That's why we blew up USAID. You see any paid Antifa BLM lately? No? Wonder why.
I mean, look, they're still out there, but they're out there in smaller droves because they can be paid under the, somebody could pass them a little bit of money. You still see those little wackos out there, right? But not to the extreme. Mostly because there's guys like me that are just not afraid. Like if they said, hey, we're going to organize a thing downtown, I'd be one of probably 600 people in Colorado they would call. And I was like, I have a lot of pent-up aggression. Right. Let's go stop them from burning down the
Right, I'll be there. Yeah,
but I think we do have to look at the bad parts of this that have caused a lot of this damage. The globalists,
I agree.
Marxists, the people like Obama, like
Fabians.
Yes, and we have to hold them responsible for what they've done globally. The CIA is just an atrocious organization.
Should be dissolved.
But it can't dissolve it because it now has its own life. It's like planting something away from. You have Columbia University, you have Cal Berkeley, you have. I mean, I can start talking about the institutions that have, the seemingly endless amounts of cash and people that are willing.
You got to fight a money wall. So let me ask you this: is this plausible? let's say in the next couple of weeks, maybe next 3 weeks, the president declares a state of emergency over election integrity and fraud. And what the president does is he says, how can we elect anybody for the midterms if they all got in on the primaries fraudulently and we can't sort out one from the other? So we're in a state of emergency. Here we go to the military. Wait a minute. If it goes to the military and there's some form of martial law and then it doesn't have to be limited to just elections. Couldn't we go after all of it? Wouldn't there be the chance to have a season of accountability? Couldn't you then go and take all your evidence because we know down to the name of the cubicle in each of these government buildings who is on what team? If we have that granularity, couldn't you do that? And much like the Venezuela contest,
You are speaking my language, baby. Let's go.
Didn't we do this in Venezuela? We left Venezuela alone. All we had to do in Venezuela is park the damn Ford off the coast and sit. And what did we get? A bunch of cartel jackasses got on their phones and on their laptops screaming bloody murder into all of the laundering banks, the private credit institutions, the heads of state that they felt like they bought off, the senators, the congressmen that they felt like they bought off. And they said, you got to get this out of here. This has got to stop. Well, that gave us all the intelligence that we needed. Thank you very much. Now we know who you all are and we know where the bombs are going to go. And this is going to be no different in my view.
I mean, look, as you're sitting here talking, I feel like it's Christmas. And I've been like this. I've been like this, but I actually did get past the anger stage because I used to get so angry. The last 5 years,
I was too.
It does something to you.
Yeah, it wears you down.
Until you realize, like I was sitting there having a conversation with my friend, and he looks at me and he goes, "You look so sad." And I go, "It's when you know, and you're in the middle of something, and you're sacrificing." So often, look, I wouldn't wish the last 6 years that I've had to deal with on anyone.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
I mean,
none of us. Right. You especially, good God, you've been mired in lawfare a go-go, and that's one of their weapons.
I walked through because I knew I was right. I knew I was truthful. I knew I was doing the right thing. Right. And I didn't ask for any special treatment. I certainly didn't complain about it. I was like, you know what? Here, thank you, Daddy. Bring me some more. Right? I'll eat that too. Right?
Yeah.
But now I'm at the part where General, I've already smelt the dirt. Like I'm good.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's a long war.
people say stuff to me on social media and they're like, "Oh, you're an asshole," and I'm like,
yeah,
okay, I've learned not to punch down anymore on retards. Thank you.
No,
though. You got anything else?
When you go back to, and I think as a nation, first off, I'm very honored on 9/11. I'll be at the Storm Summit in Las Vegas speaking on 9/11 with a group of really great patriots. And coming right before me is Kurt Weldon, who's Mr. 9/11, meaning he understands it all. And we have to, as a nation, go back to 9/11. And I remember being a brand new lieutenant colonel in Stuttgart, Germany at U.S. European Command when that all started. And the only thing that I had right that day was we're at war. I just didn't know which war. And none of us would find out for years which war we were in. Yeah. The war we're in right now is the war we were in that day when that happened. But it's the same war. And everything that day was not what you thought it was. And we have to go back. The Israelis have to go back to October 7th. They're going to have to face these things. We look at Butler, we look at Charlie Kirk, we look at all of it. They're getting to the place of desperation where they don't even care what it looks like anymore. That guy shot Charlie with a 30-06. He's never killed anybody before, but he took the shot and he dropped him. And then he played around with the mechanics on the rifle for a while, put it together. No, he didn't put it together. Then he drove all over the damn state. And we got military airplanes like flying over him as he turns himself in at magic number 33 hours. What a bunch of horse shit. They don't even care that you're not going to buy it. You know, I'm breathing oxygen. Hello, I don't have a smart TV, so it's not hitting me with 19 hertz MK Ultra people. I actually know what's going on, and they don't care. Because why? Because they're desperate. You know why? Because they're worried the president's about to drop that hammer. Now, there's things that the red team could do to the president to stop him from doing that. That's what worries me.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I keep talking about Well, I'm glad you brought up Charlie Kirk, because a 30-06 did not kill Charlie Kirk, and it wasn't
No.
fired by a man who's never killed someone. And a man
You know, a
that
better
shoots
theory
someone,
is Colonel Mustard with the pipe wrench in the library. That's a
Yeah.
far more accurate, plausible theory than the bullshit they were feeding us on Gerber's that day.
Well, and that you had the other people that stood up, said, take me, shoot me.
I know.
Right? It was an
Right.
op. They ran a complete op, and they had different levels of that
Total op.
But here's the thing, and you know this because you were in the military.
Mhm.
I know this, and I shouldn't know this. But look, killing a man will change you forever.
Of course.
And there's
That's right.
not a man out there, I don't care who you are, that it
Mhm.
doesn't change who you are. And if this young man shot Charlie with a 30-06,
Yep.
There's something in him that would have. This is instinctual, by the way.
Yeah.
For one, the gravity of it will hit you like a I don't even know. It's like somebody
Yep.
dropping a 2,000-pound weight on your chest. Number
Yep.
one, and I don't care who you are. That's the truth.
Yep.
Second of which is that your morbid curiosity of what you've just done would cause you to pause. There was no pause in everything that they said that this young man did.
No, nothing. That's why and for those of us who have been in the military, first responders, practitioners, contractors, right up in the zone, you know these things. You can figure them out. It didn't take me 10 minutes after Charlie Kirk was dead to figure out that they were pitching slop. And then you saw Kash Patel's statement the next day, and you're like, I don't know why you're lying to me. That's what I don't know. But what I do know is that you are lying to me. And that's a
lying.
lot.
And he
now
lied twice. He lied twice.
Oh, yeah.
Because the
And
first
now-
one was a gun that was a air gun.
Right. And now we talk to guys like, I love John Cullen. We actually debate these things. We had a really uproarious debate this morning, but John is self-admittedly an Asperger's guy, and he is a pit bull with a bone, and he won't let go. And so if you think you're going to get a guy like that to let go of the details, no. He's taken it one further. He's got an army all around the world, from Sweden to London to the United States, that are using advanced modeling tools to do everything from physics, ballistics, timing, timelines, what military assets were overhead, who did what. And this is the most crowdsourced assassination in history. And this is so cool because it's evident of our temperature as we, the people, are not going to buy the slop anymore. And now we've got tools where your grassy knoll story is not going to sell. But this puts the enemy into a pretty dangerous situation, because their information warfare specialists in DC are going, they're not buying it. What? Yeah, no, we're doing sentiment analysis. Nobody's buying this shit. And this puts us into a very strong place.
So that leads me to, the first thing that I did, by the way, is I grabbed my 30-06 and I just started doing because I had done a bunch of ballistic stuff before. So I did that first, and then I looked at shock waves, the way Charlie's body reacted and everything else. And then I built models, and then I built a model that could actually model it inside of, Anyway, I came to a different conclusion. I'm curious as to whether or not you came to the same conclusion as far as the caliber of the weapon that was used. But I actually think, in my opinion, it's a 300 blackout or a 6.5 Creedmoor shot.
Maybe.
What's that?
Maybe. I'm more in the camp of the Tennessee armament factory that got blowed up.
Okay, tell me more, because I don't think I know about that.
So he had, and I don't know what it was a Rode brand lapel microphone, kind of magneted to his T-shirt on his right clavicle. And so when we look at that and we look at how the blood spurt came out, then we go back into some of the background that could make that a weapon that was detonated there on site when it happened by people very close to him. And before that, you have a PETN explosives manufacturer in Tennessee that specializes in micro explosives. And there was a government contract let for them 3 months prior for $407,000 for a one-time purchase where they make these explosives. And 20 days after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, the entire plant in Tennessee burns to the ground. 20 people die in the fire. Again, all that circumstantial evidence, it's all documented by, I'm not going to say any names, but they're all popular and they're all crowdsourcing this thing on all these podcasts, but they've got the receipts, the actual papers. And I'm talking with guys like Rob O'Neill and those guys, and everybody to a person is like, it's not a bullet, man. It's just not. And so then you get to the story of how did he get to the hospital, who was in the hospital, the camera blackouts and all of that. So in other words, you and me don't have to be Dick Tracy, don't have to solve the crime. That onus is not on us. It was supposed to be on the people who said we've solved the crime at 33 hours into this thing. And instead, what we got handed back was a bunch of improbable nonsense from the car chase, not car chase, but him driving all over the state, Cooley getting a hamburger while he just murdered his first guy, to driving all over the state, St. George, and then the military aircraft that were overhead, specialty aircraft that is now a documented fact. So, in other words, you're just not going to, we're all sitting here going, okay, look, just be transparent with us and make it make sense. We'll listen. You're the government. Just take all these facts and string them along and make them work. Please.
So, but they're still, again, trying to convince us of something that's not. Now,
Right.
I just want you to think about this. If you had a supersonic round, it would create the same percussion. If you had a supersonic round and it did enter through his neck and it hit the back of his neck, it would cause, it would have the same reaction. Now that's a 300 blackout round, typically, or a 9mm, I guess you could say. But let's say it's a 300 blackout. That bullet is traveling at 2,500 to 3,000. Now, the reason why I say that it's a 300 blackout is because if you also then go back to it could be the lapel. I mean, I'm not saying it can't be. Right? Sure. At this point, we know it's not.
And we don't have to figure it out. Neither one of us has to be right.
But if you listen to the sound patterns of the strike versus the sound, a supersonic round would have the same impact versus sound almost immediately. You would hear it and it would, right? So, so it would be it's the most likely. I mean, a 30-06 at 240 yards.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Can I give you those acoustics without shooting at anybody? Can I give you those acoustics on the tape?
Oh, absolutely.
Without shooting anybody?
Yeah.
Sure can.
Yeah, but again, I'm not thinking how deep this goes, right? You could push a button, the lapel goes off, and boom, the speaker cracks and says it's anything could happen.
Yeah, for me, it's really all about, okay, I see that Charlie Kirk has been assassinated. This is tragic, but rather than me getting hopped up, what I did immediately was, okay, the first question I always ask is why? Why are we killing Charlie Kirk? What happened in the days that led up to this? What key podcasts did he have? Is there anything to look at there? There are a few things. If the other thing I looked at was, okay, what would be your natural reaction as the principal in a security incident? Who the hell's this guy paying to protect him? What the hell's this about? Looks like it's awfully sloppy that we don't have the rooftops covered. Okay, who? And that was the second question I asked. Who's protecting him? And then I went up onto the websites. I did my own research, found out who that was. Very interesting names associated with that. And then we start running down things like aviation records. I want to know where Erica Kirk is. I want to know where and so I didn't go into hyper sleuth mode. I didn't go into, I'm going to be the one to crack this case. I just wanted to understand. I wanted to understand when the feds roll in here and they tell us what happened, is that going to be plausible, or am I going to discount this? Or am I going to say you've got more work to do? And at that time, after Kash Patel said what he said, I was like, I don't know what happened. I just know that didn't happen. So make it make sense. Go back to the drawing board. It's early days. You can still go revise. Hey, after further review, after getting more information, we didn't understand this. So now I'm left with, why did the sheriff resign? Why was nobody in that emergency room when he went there? Why were people transferred to other hospitals in advance of the event? What was about? What's the connection to Fort Huachuca? I don't have to come up with any of that. I'm not under any obligation to do so. All I can
Right.
say is that honest Americans, after looking at Butler and looking at some of the other BS that we have seen, if the government thinks that they warrant our trust, that you could get up and make a facetious statement like this, and you're going to pat us on the head and go, "We're the government, trust us." Oh, we're not in that mood as a nation. We're not. Democrats and
No.
Republicans are very unified on this. We don't trust you, and you don't trust us either. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a camera on every damn street corner with a ALPR and a microphone. So
20
maybe
million cameras, by the way.
20 million
cameras
cameras.
across the United States. There's
Might,
more
but
cameras in the
after
United
last
States than any other
night,
country.
might be 19,900,000.
we got a couple flock cameras that get destroyed. The flock cameras aren't really the issue. It's the IRAD cameras that they have on every single light pole.
Oh, I know.
And have for
but it's worse. It's far
decade.
worse. They now know they can upgrade these things with microphones. They can upgrade them with thermal sensors. They can find out who the hell's in the car, what they're saying to each other. The license plate readers can go ahead and give them instantaneous information about, do you have back tax issues? Have you what's your record? What have you done lately? What are your social media posts? They can pull all that shit up. And the next wave, thank you, Speaker Johnson, is to have brand new cars that have microphones and cameras in there and telemetry so that they can shut your car down at a critical phase of drive, which is I swerved to miss a kitty and you shut my car down. The next one is we just told your insurance company that your Corvette went maybe 3 or 4 miles over the speed limit and they took your Corvette away from you. Or this one event where Ford repoed a car based on telemetry data. They bricked the car. Yeah. Some guy was at a stoplight. It wasn't telemetry data. It was just he was back in arrears on his payments to their motor credit, and so they bricked the car.
No.
Yeah, while he's driving it. Yes.
No.
Bricked it. Yeah, look. Let's go find it. It's an article out there. I would love to know that it's fake news, but no matter what, this is a 1984 trajectory towards globalism and Marxism, and they want it. And there's a dearth of trust in this company both ways. Because what do we want? We want self-governance, our sovereignty. We want our ballot box back.
Of course we do.
We want you clowns term limited. And we want citizens in those seats, not professional politicians who have their strings go all the way to London. We don't want that. So they want to keep the status quo. They want to harvest our money and our property. And if you don't pay your property taxes, we're coming for that too. That's what they want. They want to tokenize everything, Larry Fink, Klaus Schwab style. And then the second you get out of alignment with anything, we're just going to take your shit. These are the two groups. This is what the war is about. And so if we don't win here, we have to win here, because if we don't win here, we're going to Mad Max. And that's it.
But I actually feel really good about what you're saying, because it makes sense. And President Trump has been like the Cheshire cat.
Oh, he is. He is. He really is.
I mean, he is. And I'm not the one, by the way, where you can't tell me I can't criticize him. Like, I won't. I'm Team Trump.
I criticize him all the time.
I'm
this
Team
hamburger
Trump.
bullshit. Who told you this?
I mean, that
or
was
mRNA
bullshit.
flu shots. Are you kidding me, Mr. President? Please get an honest briefing from an honest American on this stuff. Please pick up the phone and invite Dr. McCullough to your office and just have a private conversation without Susie Wiles there. We'll all do much better. There's so many things to work on, but we've got to get over this hill. And I imagine President Trump, there are people who are very comfortable in his world right now thinking they're in great with him. Everything is groovy. I'm set. I'm going to have Stargate for all my friends. We're going to do this, that, and the other thing. Let's do this pre-crime unit. And all of a sudden, he turns on him on a dime. And I think we will see some of that.
This is the best part about all of this, by the way. The best part about all of this is that I don't know why I've felt more comfortable in the last 3 weeks, but I have. Like I literally woke up one day.
We're settling down.
And my wife was like, "Are you good?" And I was like, "Yeah." You want to go for a walk? She's like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "All right, let's go." And so we go for a walk, and I still have to carry my gun on a walk, and I still gotta do
Sure,
those
of course.
things. But I got back into doing stuff that I really enjoy. I love working out. I love actually playing basketball.
Yep.
And I stepped away from this stuff for 6 years. And now
Yeah.
I feel like I get my life back. Like I get to.
I know I want to go sailing badly, more than you can imagine. But here's the thing: another place after we win this war, and we will win this war, where Americans are going to get white hot, is we're going to start looking at all the technologies that were suppressed and kept away from us. And we're talking about medical technologies, zero-point energy technologies, quantum physics technologies, that could have made a difference, that could have avoided all these wars, that could have made differences in our lives, families, our wealth, and all of that. And that's going to be kind of a tough period. But there, on the other, what we're experiencing right now, that calmness that you're exhibiting, it is a collective consciousness. It is this feeling that, oh God, for better or for worse, we've arrived. We're finally here. We are at the merge. That's what we call that in fighter pilot land, of which I'm not a fighter pilot. I'm an airlift pilot and very proud of it. But when you're about to see a dogfight go off, you have jets that hit each other with what is called the merge. And now it's missiles and machine guns, and you're mixing it up, and you can see the guy you're going to go kill. We're at the merge. We're at the globalist and the sovereigntist forces now coming into contact with each other. So the president's got a very, very big choice to make. It's an epic, historic choice, and it's got world history consequences associated with whatever he's going to decide. And all of us who are in support, we will do our best to make sure that he understands not only are we with him, with our country and its constitution, but that we know that there is no other way.
No, I agree with you fully. I just have one more question. And hey, thanks for coming on, because I went.
Oh, it's always a pleasure.
I want to, and I feel like our conversations are always great. I mean, I feel like I have great interviews with a lot of people, but I feel like your experience that you have and the things that I know about even the Middle East and Africa and foreign policy, domestic policy, and how that I'm just a walking encyclopedia of worthless information.
It's deep, miles wide.
But we can have these conversations, and I feel like you actually know what you're talking about, which is, it's very rare.
I appreciate that. I don't want to disappoint people. And I'll tell you what, when I am wrong on something, or I've gone down the wrong rabbit hole, I'll be the first to stand up and go, guys, I'm turning on a dime on this one. I have this one wrong. But what I will say is I have applied my energies as much as I can to be as helpful as possible in a fifth generation warfare environment, and trying to make it make sense for folks who are at home trying to make it make sense. That's my mission. That's what I think I'm called to do.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I got to ask you about the deep state.
Yeah.
So
those little darlings.
You had Pulte before
Jay,
Todd Blanchett,
Tucker.
Yeah. So no, you had Bill Pulte, who fired a bunch of intelligence officials when he was in there as acting DNI. And Kash Patel purged the FBI a little bit. I still don't trust Kash Patel. I think he's a Kardashian, but that's just my opinion. How do you tell the difference between the rooting out of this politicized bureaucracy versus installing a one that is loyal to this administration, or at least loyal to the ideals? Like, are we headed down a Judas and Brutus type environment, or or does it even matter? I guess is more the point.
Yeah. Well, what you don't want is an EKE. Everybody kill everybody. You don't want that.
Yeah.
So that means what you have to do is, especially in terms of the deep state, you have to triage it out. You have to take a look at the mountains of evidence. You got to do the human terrain mapping, and then you have to assign what that person's level of threat is. And you got to get into that granularity. So case of Kash, Is Cash a turncoat? Is he compromised? Is he controlled opposition? What tentacles are on him? Got an interesting girlfriend there, Cash. Just saying. A lot of use of that jet. Just saying. But
But
the
that's not even
but
the
in
only
the
thing there's a lot of use of.
well, I've heard this from folks I get to talk to in the administration is I'll raise hell about somebody and they'll go, he's serving a purpose right now. And it's like, oh, so that what that would imply is who's who in the zoo, not blind to that, but everybody's got their time and place. And so there are probably guys or gals running around going, I'm right there with you, Mr. President. I'm your helper. And then in true Godfather style, once the time is right and it comes, it's like, yeah, I was always worried about you, Fredo. And
What you just said,
you're a good
Godfather.
boy.
Yeah, what you just said it's a real thing, right? The Godfather
It
principle.
is. Look at his
You're
favorite
smart.
song at the end of everything he does, Nessun Dorma. It's a freaking opera thing from the Sum of All Fears. You gotta pay. The man loves the dramatic. He loves the
He
dramatic.
loves it. Loves
And
it.
so, but that's where he goes. And if he goes there as a student of war and somebody studying a general of either enemy or one of our own, you have to look at little idiosyncrasies like that because they will tell you so much. I used to, General Petraeus used to be my boss. And General Breedlove too. I used to hang on every word nonverbal. It wasn't what they were saying outright that was important, but it was the nuance, the style, what the priorities were, what was important to them, what got that eyebrow to go up was far more important than whatever the hell the subject was.
Yeah, no question. Well, I gotta tell you, it's always fun having you on, and this has been a great conversation because now I get to go back to Kyle Seraphin and tell him to stick it.
Yeah.
He's my friend too, though. So
Yeah.
look, he's given up a lot. His wife was 8 months pregnant when he basically made a decision to stand up for the American people. He is he's an amazing man. And I've sat and broke bread with him and his family, his wife and his beautiful kids, beautiful wife. And he's legitimately he's not just a solid guy. He's a guy that you would want next to you in any foxhole, in any situation.
No question. No question.
So but him and I have conversations, and he tells me, and I'm like, I don't want to believe that. Then I'm like,
I have dear friends, E.M. Burlingame. He's on the other side of my state, and he and I will mix it up like cats and dogs. What happens on podcasts are one thing, but when EM and I are just on the phone, it's like, all right, listen here, my good man. Let me explain something to you. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
It's too much fun. Well, God bless you, brother. I totally appreciate you. And look forward to having you on again. And I'll see you, by the way, on September 10th. I'll be there speaking.
I can't wait. That'll be fun.
So it'll be great. All right.
We'll have an adult beverage together.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Well, we always have a good time, no matter what. You take care.
Right. Take care. God bless you. One of my favorite guests of all time, and one that is so smart, but also so understanding of the situation. Been on the battlefield before, and frankly, this is not his first rodeo. So when he speaks, I listen, and when he says, "Hey, look, let me give you a different perspective," I'm sitting here recalibrating everything in my brain, going, "Okay, that's the perspective that I can bite off on, not because of hopium, but because of what it actually accomplishes and what the likely outcome would be." And it doesn't mean that we're always going to be right. Okay? We're not going to always be right. And by the way, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. At some point, we're going to exit this chessboard. And when we exit this chessboard, our job is to contribute and to commit as much as we can to the plight of actually creating a just and good outcome. So we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about, man, the Republicans are cowards. They're cowards. They're just really, something's happening, man. They're just this uniparty it's crushing my soul because they're not even pretending that they're good people anymore. And that goes in Colorado, California. It doesn't matter. The people, by the way, not the ones that are in leadership. The people are good people. It's the people that are in leadership not so good because they were selected too. All right, we'll be right back.
Oh, hi. I almost didn't see you there. Welcome to DCF Buns, where you can find the freshest buns in town, if I do say so myself. Oh, our master bakers teach class every week. So whether you're new to baking or trying to improve your culinary skills, we got you covered. And we can help you bake the cake of your dreams. We'll even clean your cake if you want. And if you don't want to bake anything yourself, we have loads of fresh buns available in a variety of shapes and sizes. Check us out at dcfbuns.com to learn more. DCF Buns, we keep the buns hot and the deals hotter. Buns.
In every thread, in every stitch, Honor-Bound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honor-Bound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act. As the official site for the Untamed podcast, all of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage. We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honor-Bound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, you're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle.
Are we already giving up on November? And I asked that for this specific reason, because I had a long conversation today with, I'll just tell you who, Sean Spicer. You know what Sean Spicer told me? Sean Spicer told me the GOP is sitting on a gargantuan amount of money, a gigantic amount of money. We are 70, 71 days, something like that, away from the election, and they're not spending it. I told you my story about here in Texas. You know what Sean Spicer told me? Yeah, Jesse, same thing's happening in Michigan. Same thing's happening in North Carolina. Same thing's happening in Georgia. The GOP is sitting on truckloads of cash, and they're not spending it. People are starting to vote early, like now. If not now, it can't. Every state does it differently, but I guarantee it's starting very soon. This election is right now. Why are we not unloading all this money? What are we saving the money for? Are we saving it for 2028? What is happening? This is malpractice. And I'm not saying we're going to lose the Texas Senate seat, but we might. I'll tell you this. You know what Sean Spicer told me? It's a 1-point race right now. 1 point in one of the reddest states in the country. And why wouldn't it be 1 point? Bottom is on every single TV commercial, driving a Ford truck, talking about groceries and Jesus with Pawpaw. And Ken Paxton is nowhere to be found because the GOP's not spending any money. And I'm told that that same thing is happening in Georgia, that John Ossoff is unloading money. He's all over the airwaves. GOP candidate non-existent. North Carolina non-existent. Michigan non-existent. And now I get a story that Jared Kushner is already meeting with the probable, I guess, next Speaker of the House on areas of common ground. Are we in the negotiating the surrender phase? I mean, you're going to have to forgive me, but how am I supposed to take this any other way? Why in... I'm going to be calm here. Why in the world would we be meeting with Hakeem Jeffries 2 months before the election? Hopefully, Hakeem Jeffries is still in the minority after the election. I would hope that'd be the goal. But of course, surprise, surprise, who's the one going to sit down with Hakeem Jeffries? Jared Kushner.
You know, I don't care about Jared Kushner. I don't care about any of them, actually. What I care about is the American people. But here's what I do know. I do know that there is a huge risk if you get rid of the machines and the mail-in ballots that the people in power will no longer have power because the American people will get tired of proxy votes for the state chair race and creating fraudulent elections for primaries and all that. They just lost their appetite for 56 cents on every dollar and money going to wherever they want. And it's basically a bunch of pigs that run around and steal from the American people. The American people have had enough. I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican, independent, it doesn't much matter to me. Hakeem Jeffries is just another dumb Nimrod that literally couldn't fog a mirror. And the rest of if he didn't do what he did and stood up on whatever you want to call he stands up on, that guy couldn't fog. You could push him over, you could flick him with a finger and probably break one of his arms. He's that much of a weak, pathetic individual. Most of them are. Most of them are. Most of what you see in politics at every level are pathetic paper tigers. Now, there are those exceptions. There are exceptions to the rule. There are people that stand up, do the right thing. There are sheriffs that do a great job, like Dar Leaf. There are people that I have a lot of respect for, but the vast majority of them, I wouldn't piss on them if they were on fire at all. Why would I? We have these truckloads of cash. Let me explain to you what I don't think. I don't think there's truckloads of cash. And if you go back to 2020, I'm going to look at the same strategy they used with Biden. Biden sat in a hole and didn't do anything because it didn't much matter. Because if we have free and fair elections in November and they get the elections right, you wouldn't need to spend any money because most of America will be like, I'm not voting for Team Evil. I'm going to vote for the lesser of two Team Evils, and that is whatever you got these clowns doing that are the Republicans. And what General Holt said that I think rings clear with me, that I think we have to pay attention to, and that is, that the primaries were fraudulent. So you're going through the process and you're doing everything that's necessary, and you're going to, have an emergency action. There is something to be said for why we're having this event in Las Vegas on September 10th, the anniversary of Charlie Kirk's assassination. And that is what comes out the other side of this is probably going to be something pretty significant. I don't think we'll be in the same place in 30 days. In 30 days, I think we'll be in some place different. I had a really tough time a couple of days ago. I laid down and there's only happened to me about 3 times in my life. And I laid down and everything so one of the biggest issues that I have is when I close my eyes, I see things in bright green, numbers, like numbers go across. And I can solve problems very quickly when I close my eyes. If I see a problem, I close my eyes and I sit there. It's a weird thing. I don't know. I haven't really figured out why maybe I'm not the only person. Maybe everybody does this. I think I've talked about this a couple of times. But anyway, so but there's only a few times that I've gone to sleep and I'll be asleep and everything will vividly become, it's like I'm spinning above the bed. It's really a weird sensation. And then in the middle of it, I'll feel this wind from spinning around the bed. I know it's weird. So just bear with me a little bit because it feels weird in the middle of it. But I was having a really hard time that day. I mean, really hard time. I didn't feel like I could articulate what was going on. I felt like I had this huge weight on me because I go through this whenever. And then I woke up in the morning and I was fine. I was totally fine. I was totally okay. And I came back to this whole thing where I say, but God. But God. Jesus is king, man. Jesus is our Lord and Savior. And they try to put things in front of you to convince you that that's not true, but we know that that is true. And so I look at what's happening with this, and it's a part of the script. It's part of the script. Why would you spend money if you knew that someone was going to wreck it, Ralph? If I was the GOP and I had the inside knowledge, and it might be more of Jared Kushner having a conversation with Hakeem Jeffries to say, your time is up. I don't know. I mean, we want to ascribe Jared Kushner to Team Evil. I'm not sure I do. I certainly don't with Stephen Miller. So if Stephen Miller isn't, and he's a close relationship with Jared Kushner, you are who you hang out with. And President Trump has proven a lot of things to us. At the same time, I'm not okay with the way that the American people have been treated. There's a lot of people walking away from this America First movement. Why? Because it doesn't make sense. It's not real. We are headed into the elections in November. And the American people don't have an appetite to donate money to any campaign. They're broke. They're demoralized. These are true things. At the same time, I look at what's happening and I'm like, okay, well, let's check that box. How do we fix that? We're on the cusp. We're on the cusp of changing some things. I think you're in good hands. I do want to point out some of the things that are happening around the country that we have to be aware of. In California, man, who can say California and great place to live in the same sentence? I think homeless people can, and actually, it just got much better for them, the homeless people, if they like to get jiggy with it. And this is the story writes itself. Play it.
I'd like to propose that Los Angeles consider a pilot program for free hygienic sexual relief clinics, primarily serving the homeless and unhoused. This means equality. It means private sexual relief through masturbation or, where appropriate and consensual, with a partner, all funded by public tax dollars and managed with professional oversight.
Yeah, you want to play it again for you? Let's play it one more time, because I didn't get it the first time. Let's play one more time, please.
I'd like to propose that Los Angeles consider a pilot program for free hygienic sexual relief clinics, primarily serving the homeless and unhoused. This means equality. It means private sexual relief through masturbation or, where appropriate and consensual, with a partner, all funded by public tax dollars and managed with professional oversight.
Okay, let me just, I want to point out what he said. First of all, he wants to make LA freakier than it already is. He wants you to be able to build a house of spooge. And then he wants to have people oversee it. So why didn't he just say that we'd like peep shows on the street? I can't do this. And he did it with such a straight face. And you can look at it and go, this is team evil. How about no? They're so worried about somebody being able to masturbate in private, being homeless on the streets. They don't even talk about the drugs that they're pumping into their body. They don't talk about the wrecked lives that they have on the street. They want to do it because it's equality. This guy is the most retarded individual you could. There's probably no, if you were on the retard list and you were like putting like a cherry on top of the ice cream of retards, this guy would be like the tip of the stem of the cherry of the retard sundae. I can't. Oh, well, wait a minute. We do have some common sense, right? This is a candidate for U.S. House in November. Now, I want to say this to the Anti-Defamation League and to Eric Coomer and his attorneys who are paying attention. Go fuck yourself. I just wanted to make sure you guys, I got that out for you because I think you guys are pieces of shit. And I think you're a bunch of lying scumbags that play for Team Evil, and sooner or later you'll get yours, and I hope it's internal damnation, but I also believe that I hope that it's just a bad case of hemorrhoids that makes it so you're uncomfortable for every day of the rest of your life. But with that said, this is a candidate for House in November. Did I get all that straight, Patrick? Did I leave anything out of that one? That was kind of, is that good? Okay. I tried to do it so that you could actually just, plan it. I'm sorry you guys had to hear me say that. I just wanted the public announcement for those pieces of trash that are a bunch of lying scumbags. And they deserve what I just gave them because they can just, burn themselves alive. Okay, so if this is a leaked tape, I want to play it and then I'll tell you what the tape says. Well, you listen to it, we'll talk about it.
Honestly, I would say that the entire purpose of my campaign is to make sure America continues to support Israel. You know, I don't think it's wrong for Jews in America to want to live in Israel first. America is not our homeland. We have been victims of anti-Semitism here.
Let me repeat what this piece of trash said. Okay? I don't think it's wrong for Israel to use America as a pawn. And then goes on to say that they've been subject to anti-Semitism here in the United States. No, you haven't. You play for Team Evil. We actually don't care what you are. We don't care. You're not a Samaritan. You're not. Most of actually all of the people that are in power that are doing some of the pretty evil things. I was going to bring it up with General Holt. We don't give a rat's ass about another country. We don't. We can have you can be our friend, but you don't go out and pick fights and then expect for us to finish for you and then put American lives on the line in order to, do your dirty work. You don't do that. You don't bomb the hell out of Lebanon, right? You get like an itch and you're like, okay, we're going to run over here. We're going to handle the stuff in Iran because, yeah, they do want to blow up Israel, and it's kind of a bad thing. There's a lot of good people in Israel. We don't want that to happen. So we're going to go take them out and do those things. But then you decide that you didn't get enough bloodletting, so you didn't get enough to participate enough. So then you just start bombing the hell out of Lebanon, saying, oh, they're bad too. I know a lot of people from Lebanon. They're not bad people. Well, they got Hezbollah there. Okay. Sure you do. But a vast majority of the people that you're bombing to oblivion are just good people. And you can say, wow, there's no, what you did in Gaza is okay, or this. I don't even care about it. What I care about is that this piece of shit said that it's okay for Israel to treat American. Let me replace this for you. I don't think it's wrong for Israel to use America as a slave. Let's play it again. We'll play it one more time. Let's play it one more time. Let's play it one more time so you can hear him say it, and then when he says pawn, I want you to think slave. Because pawns they're not pawns. They're slaves. You do realize that, right? You understand slave? And by the way, it's not a Israel versus America. It's an America first thing. Like, we care about America, right? I don't care about the Rothschilds' invention back in 1947. I don't care about it, right? I don't think it probably was the right real estate move, frankly, to put it in the middle of this area. And it just wasn't. I mean, if you're looking at real estate, probably wasn't good. And I don't care, actually. I don't. I care about the people of Israel the same way I care about the people of any other country. Don't play for Team Evil. Don't kill a bunch of innocent people, ever. October 7th was awful. And at the same time, don't tell me that I got to be your slave. Play it again.
Honestly, I would say that the entire purpose of my campaign is to make sure America continues to support Israel. I don't think it's wrong for Jews in America to want to live in Israel first. America is not our homeland. We have been victims of anti-Semitism here.
I don't think it's wrong for Israel to use America as a slave. That's what he said. Oh my gosh, Joe, you're anti-Semitic. No, I'm not. No, this is the whole thing about dog whistles and pieces of trash like the ADL or Kyle Clark or any of the rest of these people. You come out in a tape and you say that it's okay for Americans to be used as slaves, and you're supposed to say what exactly? Oh yeah, that's yeah. And my entire campaign is to make sure that America continues to support Israel. We don't give a shit about Israel. We don't give a shit about Ukraine. We don't care. That's 99, including Jewish people in the United States, don't care. They don't care. I was talking to a friend of mine. They're like, yeah, we just don't care. I'm like, all right, well, what do you mean you don't care? Well, we don't care. It's always got to be picking a fight with someone and doing something. It's like their things, or they can, I don't even know, create chaos everywhere. And it's never the people of Israel. It's always the leaders that run around paying the PLO and funding the what was happening in Gaza, funding it, Hamas funding it, And then there's some excuse. Knock on your head, rub on your belly. Well, we did it so that we could control them because, it's somehow in the 25-degree chest that you have to give billions of dollars to the people and give them weaponry so they can shoot rock, so then we can blow them up. And, because it just makes perfect sense. It said no one ever. Oh, geez. And with more kabuki theater than that, Lindsey Graham his body's still warm. And Darlin Graham won the South Carolina Senate runoff last night. Let's look at this. This is crazy. Oh, it's really Ralph Norman. Now, relatively unknown. Ralph's been out there for a while. And Darlene Graham is the clear clear winner against Ralph Norman. You couldn't see that coming, right? At all. You couldn't see any of that coming. Pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy and this, I think, is the separation between the two. And you can see that he won in the key areas up north, and you got this really big area, and she got more votes there by 20,000. Yeah, 53 to 46. At least it's not 50 to 51 or 49%, I guess you could say. And let's just make matters worse. Let's just talk about some more theater. Can we talk about more theater? I want you to laugh about it, but understand that people are affected by this. We can make American slaves. And notice how he, by the way, said he wants to use America as a slave. And then you have, we got to make sure we keep it in the family, because God forbid someone inside the community be elected to represent the interests of people. That'd suck. Mamdani, by the way, who's never elected as the mayor of New York, never. It's not even real. He was asked a question. He goes, "What do you think that the government-run grocery stores will have on the local bodegas or the local stores?" And this is what he said.
A group of about 15 minority groups that represent bodega owners are filing suit to stop your city-run groceries. They say that your city-run groceries, and I quote, are a direct assault on minority businesses by a mayor who claims to be a champion of the disenfranchised, poor, and working-class New Yorkers. How do you feel about that? They feel that they're being disenfranchised, and what's your response to their suit and their attempt to stop your city-run grocery stores?
I continue to be fully confident in both the legality and the importance of our initiative to deliver 5 city-run grocery stores, 1 in each borough, to the people of our city. We are talking about a reflection of a cost of living crisis that has seen grocery prices increase by about 30% over the last few years.
Oh boy. This is a retard. Remember the cherry top stem? So he's like the air that comes out of the man's ass that comes by. It's not real. It's not real. Make it make sense. You can't make it make sense. You can't make it make sense because he is from a place of entitlement. He came here and he's not an American. And he does everything he can to steal from more Americans and destroying the city, because that's what it was all about. First, you flew planes into buildings, and then you decided that you're going to turn us into the laughingstock and turn Americans into third-class citizens. That's what they did. That's what they did. And let me just talk about who owns bodegas. 91% of those people are first or second generation immigrants who started their business from scratch. And he wants to destroy those. See, it has nothing to do with the people. It has everything to do with destroying anyone that wants to create opportunity or have opportunity for themselves and their family. CSA Liz says they're not retarded. They know exactly what they're doing. I agree. I agree. I think that Mamdani is a jihadi period. Yeah, no, there's question. No. Moon dummy sure ain't got an economics professor. Nope, you're right at that. Yeah. So I just want to point out the fact that we are the people of South Carolina elected. I want to point out the fact that Lindsey Graham's sister, because she has so much experience. No, she has no experience. Do you see what's happening? See what's happening? It's all a ruse. It is a protected class. And frankly, it's about to come crashing down. It's going to come crashing down. And I pray that it comes crashing down in a good way over the next month, because this time next year, you will have hell to pay. And by the way, people are making their lists, man. They're checking them twice. They're 100% doing that right now, because they're sick and tired of being sick and tired. They're tired of being slaves. As this other man pointed out, that the America should be their slave, their bitch. You should be their pawn. You should be their thing that they can abuse and do whatever you do. And by the way, get over there, slave, and give me everything that I want while you kill your babies and get substandard education while we take 56 cents on every dollar. Get over there. It kind of aligns with some of these radical leftist nutball wacko evil people. Yeah, it just kind of aligns with them. Very clear. All right. Well, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and more. Joe, you're getting to be the milder version of Gerald Celente these days. Who's that? Who's Gerald Celente? I got to look it up. How do I not know him? Gerald Celente. Let's see here. American business consultant. Oh, I remember him. Yeah. Trend forecaster, publisher of Trends magazine. Okay, I think I remember this guy. Made predictions about the financial market. Is he still alive? He's older. Are you trying to say I'm old? That's not very nice. I'm not that old. Yeah. All right. Susan Rice, good to see you. It was a pretty great show. It's pretty fun. All right. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn and more. Go over, give us a 5-star review. Also, hit the little thumbs up button over on Rumble. What the heck's wrong with you guys? Get over there and hit it up. If you're on X, I just ask that you just hit the share button. Say, go back to the beginning, right at the very top. Hit the quote. Go back to the beginning. Watch the entire show. General Holt was definitely easy on the ears, and he knows what he's talking about. The guy is an absolute stud. If you are going to be there and the 10th through the 13th at the event in Vegas, I hope to see you there. I'll definitely be there. When you see me, go ahead and give me a big high five. But yeah, we are also the guys that are on Roku, or if you're on Spotify, great place to be, or Apple or Google or any of those other places. We've got a big thing that getting ready to launch just in 3 weeks, right? So that'll be this 24-hour day, 7-day a week Wreck-It Ralph network, which is going to be super cool. Really looking forward to this. And then, I'll still do my show. But yeah, we got a lot of cool things that are about to happen. Yeah, let's pray it out. Let's pray for President Trump. And let's pray for Chris's sister, I think. I think it was Chris's sister. I don't know how she's doing. Is Chris on here? Said pray for her sister. I don't see Chris. She's not commenting. So maybe she's not there. All right. And those of you joining me over there on joining me over on YouTube, I know. So we ran this whole thing analysis on YouTube because I called and said, look, can I get off your ban list? They're like, Joe, the way you've set up YouTube is not work. It doesn't work. I go, okay, we'll fix it. So we're going to fix some stuff over on YouTube so you can join us there if you want as well. And then we got some stuff we're going to be on locals, and we got some major changes that are happening. So it should work out for you. And then I should say, I didn't do a very good job on the sponsor thing because I've always said I'll be right back. Yeah, Chris's mother is in hospice. Okay, we'll talk about Chris's mother. So I didn't do a very good job, and I apologize. I've got to learn. You guys are going to have to start telling me to say just a note from our sponsors. and then not say anything else. Like, we come back. I want you to listen to it, and I want you to buy stuff from them too that helps support them, which helps support us. So it's good to see all of you. Let's pray for Chris's mother, who's in hospice, and let's pray for President Trump. Let's pray for General Holt. Let's pray for like all of us to have peace, like the peace of being a milder version of Gerald Celente, as RL says. All right, Father God, man, thank you. Thank you for the blessings that you've given us in our lives. Thank you for the people you've put in our lives. Thank you for the challenges that we have that have challenged us. I mean, that's probably a good word for it. I can say challenged 100 times. We are grateful for the trials. We're grateful for the good times. It makes us appreciate just how this walk and how precious life is. Father, we bring to you a lot of things. We bring to you some heartache. Chris's mother is in hospice, and so Father, I don't know if it's time for her to come home, or if healing is on the things to do. But I would just ask you to wrap your arms around the whole family, that as they go through this journey of life, that Chris's mother can be comforted, and that there can be an outcome that everyone can realize that life is not forever, but you get to see each other again. I do struggle with that, Father, to see each other again. And am I going to see my friends and family, and am I going to recognize them, and am I going to spend time with them? We're going to see my brother after. There's questions that I have. I'm not sure I can answer, fully with the gospels that have been given. But I just like to feel like it is. So I would just say that be a comfort to Chris and her mother during this trying time. Father, I also ask that you bless President Trump and the people around him, and they give him protection, but you also give him the ability to have courage enough to break through some of the evil that we're dealing with on a daily basis. Help us, Father, we may contribute to this restoration, and we may contribute to kind of pushing goodness back into our communities, our country, and to the world. And we know that we're not the only ones, Father. This is we're just a small part of something so much greater. 5% of the world's population. There's still 7.5 billion other people, men and women and children all over the world, that are being subjected to the same sort of evil that we're having here in the United States. So, Father, I just ask that you would rise up an army of people that can destroy this evil that we face. Help us, Father, that we may never become the very thing that we're fighting against, and we may stand strongly, resolute together, and that we may make sacrifices that we know are necessary in order to protect the next generation and to honor you, Father, in this fight. So, Father, we ask these things, and we're so grateful. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. All right. Prayers to the suffering and dying. I agree with you. Yeah, the chat was fire today, Teresa. Fire. I'll see you guys later. Have a great day. Listen, it's please try to get into the background of history of the city of London. Oops, I'm going to try and read that. Hold on. It's a comment over on YouTube. Let me try to get this. Colin says, please try to get into the background of history of the city of London. People have got to understand this. I commented before when Blaine went into, that was perfect. When Blaine went into it, that was perfect. Thank you. Yeah, so Colin, someone else is paying attention to you as well. Sorry I didn't get that earlier, but thanks for watching. Hey, listen, have a great day. Great day. The sun is shining. Everything's great. Everything's going to be okay. We're all good. Love you all, and I'll see you soon.
Rise up untamed in the heart of the fight where the wild ones roam. Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing bring truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Break the mold, chase the real. No more games, time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through.